I'm Torkin Wakefield. I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization that works to eradicate poverty in Africa. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I came to do this work that fills my heart with so much joy. As a child, I was always impressed by my mother, who was a great humanitarian. No matter what she was up to, she was always doing something to help people. I remember an early memory of her translating a book into Braille with a typewriter that went thunk, thunk, thunk and produced these wonderful books with raised letters. And so I think as I look back at my life, she was my first guide and mentor towards work in the humanitarian world. But I didn't, growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and after I left college, where I had majored in political science, which didn't lead to any kind of a career, I started in the Peace Corps in India. And in that world in India, I realized that as a North American, there was lots that I could contribute because I had an organized mind, and I understood some of the problems of getting supplies to a place where a clinic would happen, and the patients there, and the doctor there, all at the same time. So that was a skill I didn't realize I had, kind of an organizational skill. And leaving Africa, I wasn't ready to come back to the United States, so I moved to Africa. And in Africa, I just volunteered. My husband and I, we called around to volunteer organizations, and we ended up with a group called the Flying Doctors, who placed us in a bush hospital on the slopes of Mount Kenya. So by the time I was in my mid-20s, I had lived both in India and in Africa, and I realized that doing humanitarian work was really the career that I wanted. So I went back to graduate school in public health, which is a great degree because it's very practical and it's very useful in terms of organizing and program planning and strategic thinking. And since that time, I had one job where I worked for someone else, and since then I've founded organizations myself that I thought contributed to the human situation. And over years, I started a clinic for the medically indigent. I started an AIDS organization called AIDS Medicine and Miracles, where we worked with people who had no hope. But what they did have is they had community, and they had support, and they had love. And that eased their burden. When my son left for college, my husband's an AIDS physician, and we decided that we were going to go to Africa so that some portion of his career could be helping to train the medical professions in Africa. I didn't know what I was going to do, but together with my grown daughter and my best friend, we sat in a little circle and we said, let's find something to do in Africa. So intention is really important. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. So I literally lit a candle. I set an intention with my friends, my daughter, to find a project that would really help relieve some of the suffering in Africa. And that led to us keeping our eyes open once I moved to Africa with my husband, who indeed was training doctors about AIDS care. And in no time at all, I met a woman who was sitting in the dust. She was doing something interesting with her fingers, and it turned out she was rolling beads out of paper. And we started chatting with her. She told us that she lived on $1 a day, which is true for about 1.5 billion people on this planet. Half the world lives on $2 a day or less. So she told us she worked in a rock quarry, but that she loved to do things with her hands, like people all over the world. Women love to do handwork. And that she had no markets for her beads. So we bought a few beads, necklaces from her, and we went on our way. Soon we discovered people liked the beads, and in no time at all there was interest. And we thought, well, we don't know anything about business. So we have a product. We didn't want a product. We didn't know anything about products. But we did have some skills that we thought we could bring to the problem. We knew about the power of stories. We knew about the power of women to unite across boundaries to make the world a better place. And we knew that we had a resource in our friends and neighbors that could do something. So we agreed to start a project called BeadforLife, which has embedded in it a business of selling beads. That's how we make our money. But more than that, it's how we tell our story about women who are hardworking, who are keeping children alive on $1 a day. I mean, they're true heroes. So we had a good story to tell. We believed in it. And what we discovered was that women in North America were also anxious to heal a kind of yearning they had in their hearts of connection and meaningful work. So we put these two things together, the storytelling, the outreach, the participation of North American women in helping relieve extreme poverty. And that combination, using what we knew already, that combination has led to a great deal of success in our capacity to really be a developmental organization in East Africa now. So I would say that as you look at your career path, and my life I think shows this, finding that topic that you're really passionate about. For me, it was relieving suffering. It was humanitarian. But for each of you to look inside and what am I really passionate about? And then just start taking steps that lead you in that direction. Start talking to people that you can collaborate with. Start looking for volunteer opportunities and jobs, and create your own organization like I did if you want. But just keep going, and you'll see if you stay open to the resources of the universe, to asking for what you need, to believing in your own capacity, and to telling your story in a compelling way, I think it'll lead you to success and to the career that you're looking for. Thanks.